So today I was thinking and want to talk to you about the most underrated habit of a business owner. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name is Adam Keeler. I own a small home service business here in North Dallas. For the past 5 years, I built my startup all the way to $1 million a year in revenue. But the problem was, I thought that if I would hit $1 million a year in revenue, that life would be made, that my business would just be smooth sailing. And that wasn't the case. In fact, I almost lost my business twice to some decisions I'd made, over hiring, spending too much on ads. There were several reasons, but one year I spent $75,000 extra thinking that it would save my business, help the business out, help it grow, and it just put us further and further into trouble. And it wasn't until recently that I was able to figure a few things out, implement it in my business, that changed everything. And now my business runs on its own. And my goal is, through this YouTube channel, I'll be able to help other business owners like you that possibly are in the same situation I was, to help you get through that, because it absolutely sucks to be stuck, to feel like there's no way out, or you don't know where to go, or who can help you. And so that's what this channel is here for. And so feel free to watch all the other videos that I have. I try to post here weekly. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to jump right back into the video. So the most underrated habit of an entrepreneur or a business owner is taking the time out of your day or out of your week to think. Now, you don't have to do it all the time. In fact, if you do it too much, it's bad because you don't take action. But I think a lot of us business owners that start a business from the ground up, we take a lot of action, and then we build this business, and there's just so much going on, so many fires to fight, so many people demanding our attention, that we don't actually take the time to think. So here at Irwin, I like to walk the trail. I do like to mountain bike as well, but I'll walk the trail. And I decided to make it a habit that I'd come here every Sunday morning. So today's a Sunday morning, and I'd come here before church and walk for 2 or 3 hours and just think. Sometimes I come after church, depending on the time of year. In the summer, it gets really hot in the afternoon. And so I know at least one day a week for 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 hours, I'm walking and thinking. I have found that I do my best thinking while I'm walking. And so being out here in nature, nobody's bothering me, asking me for things, asking me to answer questions or do something for them. It's just me, nature, and thinking. So a lot of times I'll put some sort of podcast or YouTube video, or I'll just have it be silent, and I'll just think about whatever issue or problem that I have and how to move forward with it and get past it. And I think that's the benefit that I think a lot of us forget exists, or maybe we don't even know exists, is we get so stuck or focused on where we're at in the moment that our brain thinks like, oh, there's no way out, or this is how it always is, and it's not. And if we don't take the time to step out of our situation and look at it from like a bird's eye view and just observe it and look and see like, wow, are there things that I don't like? Are there things that could be better? And when we do that, we then start having these ideas. We start thinking about things like, for an example, there's somebody that I was helping out. He has a business he inherited a business from his dad. It is a pool repair business. And I said I'd love to talk to him about his business, and he's like, I don't know. I don't think I need any help, because the business, my dad's had it for 20 years or 25 years or something, and I don't think I need to talk to you about anything. I was like, can we just meet up and let's just talk? Like, who knows what will happen? So we met up and we talked, and he was pretty resistant to anything. I talked about things, and he said, oh yeah, this is a problem, I don't like this is bad, and you know, our employee quit, and this person did this, and I'm like, okay, so you don't need any help? Like, you don't even want to talk about some of this stuff? So as he's talking to me about this, and I'm kind of reflecting back to him what he's saying, and then there's a couple things that I suggested that might help out. He's like, no, we're definitely not going to do that. One of them was, they still have all their customer information in physical paper files in an office somewhere. So whenever there's a customer that they've had before and they want some repeat business, they have to find the file, pull it out, and then give the quote. Or if they're struggling to find work, which there are seasons where they do really well and then seasons where they don't do very well, they can never reach out to any of their customers. And so I said, okay, well, pool repair, are there seasons in which you need to repair pools more frequently, or it happens to a lot more people? And he said, oh yeah, like whenever there's a freeze. And so I said, all right, so is there any way that you could reach out to all these people right before freeze is coming or right after and say, hey, a freeze just hit. Do you need any repairs? We're here. And he goes, well, no. And I'm like, well, why? And he said, well, there's no way for us to individually text everybody or go through and call everybody. So I said, what if you had like an online place where all of this is kept? It's called a CRM. I use Jobber. I also use Go High Level. What if you had something like that where all your customer contact information is in one spot? Something happens like a freeze, then you're able to blast text everyone and email them, and there you go. Then you got some business. He said, nope, I'm not going to do that. My dad, he doesn't want to pay for things like that. He likes it how it is. And he said, but it's kind of intriguing though, thinking about being able to email or text everybody, but now we're not going to do that kind of thing. And after he said that, I was surprised because I felt like this would be something so simple that would help him out a lot. But it wasn't until months later that he came back to me and said, hey Adam, I just want to tell you two things. The first thing is, I remember in that conversation that you had mentioned that taking the time to think, like going on a walk and just have your brain tinker on some of the stuff that's going on in my business. He said, I actually did that, and I did that a few times, and I realized some of the things that I needed to change. And one of them is the other thing that you said, is getting a CRM. He said he signed up for Jobber, and he's in the process of putting all the past customers into Jobber. And then he's working on a method to send out text blasts and email blasts. And then he said, Adam, back to taking time to think, going on a walk, he said, that has been extremely helpful for me. And so this is the thing that I want to offer to you guys. You might be very resistant to it, but I want you to give it a try. If there's a time of the day or the week where, and it's so much easier to just pick one day a week where you don't have like a lot of stuff going on. And if you have stuff going on all the time, then definitely carve out the time to think. So find out whichever way that you think best, whether it's going on a drive, going on a walk, walking in nature, riding your bike, whatever it is, take time to just think and think through things. You won't solve everything. You might not even solve one big thing, but one thing I can guarantee is you'll usually have one really good idea, whether it's for yourself, for your business, for your family, for an employee, whatever it is, you'll have a really good idea, and that's all you need. So just think about that idea more and then figure out a way that you can implement it and watch it change your life. Like I said, the most underrated habit for an entrepreneur or business owner is taking the time to think. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you're interested in learning how to have your business run on its own, I have a video masterclass video in the description below where I walk through absolutely everything. And it comes down to a foundation and 3 steps. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.